here. That's a loss. Remaining assets return for debrief. TACOM, launch a UAV.
To reverse engineer a counter to the very thing they desired him to know. After glossing over a bunch of information, Han Sen stumbled onto something rather elucidating. The power is of the sky but not, it is Shura. Power is drawn from blackened hearts. After reading the sentence, Han Sen sort of understood what it meant. The falsified sky power was derived from the Shura, obtained through the consequence of evil actions. You cannot avoid karma. Once you strike, it is locked on and Anshuanora. Han Sen did not go back to the sanctuary for a while. He remained where he was, practicing the Dongshuan Sutra and Jade Skin, hoping for a breakthrough. He thought the Luo family's business was too complicated. Even though his mom tried her hardest to get away from them, they'd always crop up in an unexpected manner. Han Sen began to think he might not be able to completely escape them, either. If there was some conflict with the Luo family in the future, this would be his best shot of coming out on top. If he didn't learn how to overcome the falsified Sky Sutra, even if he learned it himself, he would be unable to compete with the Luo family. The Dongshuan Sutra, which could predict and foresee every opportunity, was his best chance of staying alive if he ever had to do combat with someone with a high tier of the...
I thought you'd lose, but I expected better than this.
TAC 5 ready.
Sit rep. Hostile care package above.
None of these candidates were worthy of salvation.
Tactical asset down. Eliminated crash. Orbit AIA.
Where to deflect. In these conditions, I can still predict the attacks of an opponent. This means I have been successful, on the whole. Han Sen was not a person who shied away from difficult tasks. Instead, the prospect of performing something tough, and then coming out on top, excited him. When they first started practicing together, Han Sen used his vision as a secondary support to completely block her attacks. The longer he practiced, the more he could lax on his need for vision and rely solely on perception without eyes. Although progress was slow, even a tiny bit was enough to bring Han Sen much joy. As for Qinchuan, she was holding back when she attacked during the early stages of their practice. It was only as time went on that she noticed her inability to deal any damage to her sparring partner. No matter what attack she performed, Han Sen seemed able to block it flawlessly. When she noticed his unwillingness to fight back, she realized she had no need to hold back. Then, she committed all her focus and power into attacking without restraint. Despite her best efforts, she could not break or bypass his guard. "Coach, will you be here again tomorrow?" Qinchuan asked Han Sen, when she had to leave. "Yes, Illinois be visiting here for a while to come," Han Sen answered, with certainty. Until his Dongshuan aura was as efficient as his eighth sense, he wasn't going to return to the sanctuary. When Qinchuan received this answer, she looked incredibly happy. After leaving the virtual training camp, she returned to her room and brought out a Hypergeno art. So she thought of using this skill to surprise him. Gaining some casual experience and practice with the skill could only be a boon for her, as well. Qinchuan then took to learning it, and the next day when she and Han Sen fought, it surprised him a lot. Her intimidating approach was vastly different than it had been the day before, which excited him, too. After Qinchuan used Empirical Sword, she realized she quite liked it. So, she dedicated more time and research into its intricacies. After doing a deep dive to learn it better and better, she became very proficient with it. This excited her a lot, but the grief-driven history of the skill ever knotted her mind. "Are you okay?" While Han Sen battled with Qinchuan in a merry mood, her talent with the new skill only continued to improve. This was good for him, as the added pressure forced him to get better and better. It was exactly what Han Sen needed, but before long, he noticed Chen Xuan withdrawing a little bit. The zest and intimidating momentum she wielded at the beginning of the day's session had all disappeared. Coach, this sword skill can only strike. There is no defense, at all. I fear that it is too risky, and I should hold back from learning more of it. When Chen Xuan looked at Han Sen, she appeared to be lost. It was obvious how much she sought and valued advice from him. What is the skill called? Han Sen asked. Empirical sword. Chen Xuan did not hide this and told him directly. The power of grand empires is to secure victory without bloodshed. Their presence compels obedience. When your sword skills reach a level that does not require battle, then you will have truly learned it. If you never have to fight, then there is no risk, Han Sen slowly said. Not fight? Chen Xuan looked at Han Sen. Yes. To not have to do battle is to reach a zenith of your being. Han Sen nodded, and then continued to say, we will stop here for now, while you mull my words over for a time. Listen to what your heart tells you. If you want to learn it, continue. If you harbor doubt, then give it up now. You cannot be half and half with this skill. It will get you killed, if so. Thank you, coach. I will indeed think this over. Chen Xuan left the virtual training camp, deep in thought over what Han Sen had told her. Chen Xuan thought things over for a long time, and her mind was racked with indecision. Eventually, she reached out to call someone else. On her communicator, the image of an old man appeared on screen. Little Xuan, you have actually reached out to me. 'Tis a rare happenstance. The old man sipped tea, as a certain of bitterness tinged his words. Great-grandfather, I want to practice empirical sword, Chen Xuan said, with seriousness in her voice. The old man's head shook, and he looked back with seriousness, too. He observed his great-granddaughter for a while and eventually asked, tell me why you seek to practice it. Chen Xuan told him what had been happening, and then she said, so, after much consideration, I wish to learn it. And I want to reach a level where fighting will never be necessary. To not fight is the great oppression, and I have much interest in meeting this person you speak so fondly of, the old man said, instead of answering Chen Xuan directly. Great-grandpa, if you would like to meet him, that can be arranged for tomorrow in the virtual training camp. But tell me, should I learn empirical sword? Chen Xuan asked, with a girlier voice. She barely showed her more ladylike side to anyone, not even her parents. She would only do it before her great-grandfather. Don't you have the answer, residing deep in your heart? For what purpose are you asking this old man? The old man laughed and continued to say, remember to call me tomorrow, so that I can see what sort of person this fellow is, to have told you such profound things. If something happens to my great-granddaughter in the future, over the words spoken to her by this person, then I will go after him and not relent. Great-grandpa, this has nothing to do with my coach, Chen Xuan pleaded, with a cute and higher-pitched voice. Of course it has. If he did not tell you that not fighting is to reach the zenith, then you would not know the way of the empirical sword. If these words were not spoken, then you would not be so keen on learning this skill, the old man coldly said.
Net call. Hostile sentry working.
Silent boy.
Deploy inside.
Smoke going out. Enemy Hellstorm detected. Mission failed. Survivors to designated exfil zones. Team deathmatch. Leave no man behind. We've taken the lead. this look easy.